So the next two here goes into what you were talking about before we started, was how it's hard to lead yourself. Mm-hmm. So these next two, they're the way that he talks about the principle is a bit different than it's sort of the same, but it's not exactly the way that I want to talk about it. So I want to kind of just touch on how it can be hard to lead yourself, and what you can do if you're someone who wants to become a leader. What are some things you can do for yourself? Yeah. So like you can say take extreme ownership, you can say, but those are kind of abstract. Yeah. Check the ego, kind of abstract, but what are like some concrete things that you can do? So that's why I really like this one. So this is principle, I'm going to call it 3, but I think in the book it's not 3. In the book it's chapter 6. So it's called simple. And when you're trying to make any change, man, it's very, very important to keep it simple. When you're on a team, it's also very important to keep it simple. You want your plan to be simple, easy to follow, easy to execute. You want people to understand what's going on, and simplicity is the key. The more complicated you make things, the more people you're going to lose, especially when you're on a team, and especially the bigger the team gets, right? You want to keep things as simple as possible for your team and for yourself. Yeah. So he talks about it here, what I'm going to read in the context of the team, keeping it simple. And then I want to touch on just keeping it simple for yourself after that. So here's what he says. Simple. This principle isn't limited to the battlefield. In the business world and in life, there are inherent complexities. It is critical to keep plans and communication simple. Following this rule is crucial to the success of any team in any combat, business, or life. So touching on this, one of the other lines he says a little bit later, or a little bit earlier, sorry, he says, when things go wrong, and they inevitably do go wrong, complexity compounds the issues, and it can spiral them out of control into a total disaster. So as a team, that's quite obvious. So when things are complicated and you have a complicated plan and it's difficult to follow, you might be able to pull it off, right? But what happens if something goes wrong? What happens if something doesn't go as you expect, which it never goes as you expect? Then how can your team handle that, right? And it's important that when you're coming up with a plan for your team, or as the captain in the dressing room, right? Like you want to keep messaging simple, right? You want to just keep it simple. And this is where, we were talking about Mr. Positive Guy. You have positive things to say. That's not always a bad thing. It's not always a good thing. Yeah. But you want it to be something that actually means something. Yeah. So keep your messaging simple, but make it actually mean something when you're talking with your guys, Yeah. So if you just say, come on, boys, keep working. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, what specifically are we supposed to do? Yeah. So if you have like a team identity, let's say, you're supposed to be a hardworking team, or a team, you dump the puck and go get it, because some teams like doing that. Yeah. Were you doing that? It's like, boys, we know the style that we're supposed to be playing. We're not playing this way, and this is the way we need to play. Yep. Or the opposite. If you're a team that doesn't dump the puck in, it's like, boys, we keep dumping in the puck. Like, why are we doing that? That's not how we play. Let's get back to how we were supposed to be, or what our team plan is for the game, or whatever it is, Yeah. That's one thing. And then on a personal level, and the best example I have of this is when people get like nutrition programming or like workout programming. Yeah. It's like people think they need to jump to the complicated right away. They need to jump to like the hyper detailed whatever. So my cousin, she signed up for a trainer person. Yep. And I don't even know if she's ever played a sport really. Okay.
Let alone the trainer or your cousin?
My cousin. Okay. I don't know if she's ever really played a sport, and she's definitely not very active. Yeah. And so she messaged me when this guy sent her plan, and I'm reading through it, and I'm just like, this is way too complicated. Like,
not going to be executable.
And that's exactly what she said to me. She was like, I'm reading this stuff he sent me, and I'm like so lost. I have no idea what these words mean and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I was like, that's such a shame, man, because she can't execute this. Like you're saying, she cannot do this. Yeah. So I was trying to help her talk her through it and dumb it down a bit. Like, okay, out of everything you said here, this is what you need. Out of everything you said here, this is what he's trying to say, and whatever. And hopefully that makes it easier to execute. But for yourself, if you're trying to implement a new practice habit or a new nutrition habit or whatever, when you're playing a new workout habit, people, like, even on the videos that I'll post about workouts, it's like they'll ask if I'm using a band or something in one of the videos, they'll be like, well, where did you get that band? Do I need that band? Do I have to use that in my workout and whatever? It's like, no. Like, you can keep it way simpler than this. Yeah. You don't need this. This is just a tool, something you can use, an accessory piece, whatever, right? It's not something that needs to be central to what you're doing. Yeah. So it's important to extract like simple principles out, even for yourself, and just apply simple things that you can actually do and understand. Yeah. Because the more complicated it gets, as soon as there's a barrier, it's so easy to let go. Like, one thing in this program was do early morning cardio, fasted, right? So it's like, okay, what happens if you can't go early? Mm-hmm. Right? What happens if you ate first? Mm-hmm. Did I fail now? Is that bad? So, right? So it's just unnecessary detail that doesn't have to be there. You know what I mean? So you can take it.
Well, so that nutrition piece is very funny because my brother-in-law was asking, and he obviously came in here the other day, last week or whatever. Yep. We talked, and people do expect, like, okay, this is because you got to look at it from their perspective.
Oh yeah,
is when they come in, they're looking at, okay, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and fitness and nutrition, this is something I don't really know.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't know how the car works. All I know is, and that's all I need to know. Mm-hmm. Every 3 months or 10,000 clicks, go bring it in for an oil change and let them check it out.
Yep.
Right. And that kind of takes care of everything. So with fitness and nutrition, it's so easy to do exactly that, because and you're helping someone, you want to sound smart. And if you're in business, you want to sound like, look at this package I put together. But all I needed to do with my brother-in-law, and this is what I did, said, okay, start moving. He goes, yeah, but what? Like, I want to go. I said, I know you do. So get on the bike that I gave you and ride that for 2 minutes. And then I'll give you 3 exercises, like legs, shoulders, upper, whatever, and do 3 exercises until you're done. He goes, well, how long should I go? I go, till you're done. He was like, but like, should I like give her? I said, just go till you're done. You'll know when you're done.
Yeah.
And if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that's a good start.
That's right.
And the next time you'll do 12 or you won't. Yeah. But in the nutrition, this is what I always say is I go eat some meat and some vegetables and drink some water.
Yeah.
Do it 3-4 times a day.
Yep.
If you do that as your base, you're good. You don't need a plan like this. How much meat?
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
Eat it 3 times. How many vegetables? As many as you want. Mm-hmm. How much water? Drink water, man.
Yeah.
And there really isn't anything else. If you can start with that and understand that, like, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
But you start saying, well, you need to have like your macros of this, you're this, and like, now you just lost the person. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Cook some meat, add some veggies. If you don't like meat, eat something else.
Yeah. Well, so just 2 little side things on that. So when people are trying to take on something new, a lot of times, especially when it's fitness, nutrition stuff, they expect it to be that package that my cousin got.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, this is daunting. Like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
And it's so unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
Because you can do exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Couple principles, start applying them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about anything else. And the issue with that is, for some reason, people like the hyper specific, exactly what they need to do. So one example of that I have in the gym is I'll give the guys a number of working sets they need to do, right? And before they get to their working sets, there's a number of sets you need to do to warm up.
Yeah.
And I call them feeder sets, right? How many sets you're doing before you get to your working weight. And it was like a very difficult concept for them to understand, that you need to warm up as much as you need.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, well, how many warm-up sets do I do? It's like, until you're warm. Like, until you feel like you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Might be 2, might be 5.
Yeah. It's okay.
So it's okay. But for some reason, people feel like they need to have that, like, super specific, tell me exactly what to do, 1, 2, 3. Because I don't know, I feel like there's part of it is a motivator if they think they'll get faster results or whatever, but there's no fast results.
Yeah.
Because if you get the fast results, the likelihood of it not working because you're going to let go of it or whatever, just say, I can't keep up with this, it's not sustainable, or whatever the reason is, the likelihood goes up the more complicated you make it off the start. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like you have to do these 5 steps and there's no room for error, it's like that's not something that you're going to want to keep doing. So, and this can be anything, like even if you're practicing your shot, like if you aren't someone who ever practices their shot, then you just need to go start shooting pucks.
That's right.
Like, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter what type, it doesn't matter how long.
No.
It's like, you just need to get into the habit of shooting pucks. You just need to take 1 step.
Get first. 1,000 and now you have a clue what you're doing.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And then you can start to build, right? Then you can start to build knowledge on top of that. Like, I notice when I talk with my Christine about fitness stuff, because she's interested in it, the more we talk about things, the more information I can bleed to her when we're talking. Yeah. And then just slowly she starts to learn more and know more, feeling like she's not giving any more effort than she was the first time, and that's how you can build things that are sustainable. You take incremental steps, but it's like the patience, it's the slow game.
Yeah. So the simplifying in hockey, this is why I think it's really important that when I talk about having your 3 to 5 things that you personally do well, it's critical that you actually understand that, so that when things get mentally stressful, or it's a loud building and all these things are hitting you, or you're down a game or whatever, it's like the things that make you successful are those 3 to 5 things. So as a leader for yourself, you go back to those 3 things all the time. Say, am I doing these 3 to 5 things? If you're doing the 3 to 5 things, guess what? There's not a whole lot more that you can do if you do those the basics well, right? You finish your like whatever they are for you, and then for the team, it's like the simplicity of it is when things get chaotic or whatever, it's everyone does their, you could do your 3 to 5 things well. You do the team system well, which should be it's a very simple stuff, right? And then the feedback that you're giving as a leader is stick to the mission, boys. Like the only thing that matters is like when things go down, when things go sideways, when things are going great, you stick to the mission. Yep. The mission is win the game, and this is how we play. Period.
Yeah. Boom.
That's it. It doesn't get any more complicated.